Yvette Rios. We're going to explore Puerto Rico's powerful influence on global sports and music as national attention turns to major sporting and entertainment moments. She highlights the island's vibrant culture, legacy, and some of the year-round experiences. Yvette, welcome to the news desk. Thank you for your time today.
Thank you. So great for to be on your show.
Absolutely. So, Puerto Rico has shaped some of today's biggest global music and sports moments. What makes the island such a strong cultural force?
I think that's a super interesting question, and I've really tried to think about it and understand. But I think it really comes back to the fact that Puerto Rico is such a unique place. It's super ethnically, genetically diverse with so many different influences, and I think it just is such a cross section of different cultures that you do get a wonderful level of top athletes have come from Puerto Rico, top musicians, and the influence in music is just undeniable across the world. So it's a really, really beautiful and interesting place. I urge all of your viewers to come visit. And yeah, I think that's why.
So, for travelers wanting to dive into some of the culture, what are some must visit neighborhoods, some venues, or festivals tied to its music and sports legacy?
For sure. It really depends on what you're into. But when it comes to sports, sports aren't just, an event that you go to. It really is a way of life in Puerto Rico. And any sporting event that you go to is going to have music and food and, people yelling and cheering. And it's always going to be this really immersive experience. So I definitely urge people to go and see a local game when they're there. And the top sports in Puerto Rico, obviously baseball, has had a huge influence, but also basketball is huge. There's because of the weather and it being so warm, we have wonderful like golf courses. So there's all kinds of tours that go on there. And surfing. Surfing is a major competitive sport on the West Coast. So you can really see just about any sport. And when it comes to music, Puerto Rico has had so much influence in the global music scene, and right now, like, you could go anywhere in the world and hear, music from Puerto Rico. So what you really wanna do when you visit is go to those places that are really, like, the birthplaces of some of those musical traditions. So, like, Ponce, which is a city in the south of Puerto Rico, is the birthplace of plena, which is a really interesting kind of improvisational music genre that comes from West Africa that was born in Puerto Rico. Bomba is another really beautiful Puerto Rican, genre of music that comes from Loíza. So it's just so cool. If you do want to experience live music, there are so many venues and concerts and so many things to do. And there's always a festival every single month. There's at least a couple festivals you can go to.
Two things. We need to get you a professional NFL football team there in Puerto Rico. That way, I mean, you won't be able to keep the people away, right? And two, how has tourism grown in Puerto Rico over the last few years?
Well, it really, really has, and Puerto Rico is kind of booming right now, both because of it's now so visible, culturally, but there's something that's really happened, I think, after all of the difficult times that Puerto Rico has been through. There is
Hmm.
this younger generation really wants to take leadership of the island and really they want to put the things that were the most special about Puerto Rico more on the forefront. So you're seeing a lot, in the food scene, you're seeing a lot more restaurants that are embracing traditional food instead of like really targeting or catering to tourists. They're bringing their home cooked meals with a twist and their farm to table meals to the Puerto Rican visitors. So I think that it's a really great time, and there's no real better time to visit Puerto Rico than now because I think that things are really starting to heat up over there, which is really exciting.
Puerto Rican is often described as one of the most accessible Caribbean destinations for U.S. travelers. How does the passport free access change the traveler's experience?
One of the things that I really get on a soapbox about when I'm um, you know, uh, talking to Americans about Puerto Rico is that Puerto Rico is part of America, right? It has been for,
Hmm.
since like the early 1900s, so like 100 and over 125 years. Um, so really like any pride that you feel in Puerto Rico is American pride, and we should all be proud of the Puerto Rican history and all of the influences that they have had that we've had on culture throughout the world. But I think the fact that you can literally get on a plane, I mean, we can go right now with what we're wearing, jump on a plane. You don't need a passport, you don't need a visa, you don't need to exchange money, and you just jump on a plane, get to Puerto Rico, and you're literally in a totally different place with different culture, music, and it is really such a great way to just warm yourself up, transport yourself from, your local day to day grind, and it's really affordable to get there and stay there. So it's a terrific location if you want like hassle free friction, a little less friction in your travel. It's such an easy place to visit.
A lot of us up here in North Dakota, of course, we're experiencing a pretty frigid time of winter. Is this the best time to visit Puerto Rico, the off season for mainlanders?
So, it really depends on what you're into. During the holidays, there's Puerto Ricans are very Catholic, and so you're going to see a lot of celebration around Christmas. So there's things called parrandas, which is a very typical way to celebrate the holidays, where you go house to house and you sing and you steal people's food. It sounds like crazy. It's so much fun. So that time of year is a great time to visit. Now is a great time to get out of the cold. There are just so many festivals that I mean, I can't even. There's an orange festival and a plátano festival, which are the bananas, the large bananas that they make into ice cream and sandwiches, and there's all sorts of concerts. There's a big carnival that happens in the south in Ponce, that's really beautiful. There's the Festival de San Sebastián that happens in San Juan in January, and that's amazing. So there really are like so many things that you can do. There's no bad time to visit. And one thing I would like to urge you guys to look at is, definitely take a look at if your travel plans are a little flexible, try to travel on those off days like the Tuesdays and Wednesdays if you can. Puerto Rico has several airports, so if you can't necessarily find a good deal into San Juan, you may want to expand your search to include Ponce, which is in the south, and on the west side, Aguadilla. The island is small. It's like, I mean, North Dakota is giant. Puerto Rico, you can
Hmm.
drive from end to end in 2.5 to 3 hours. So it doesn't hurt to rent a car too and just be able to experience all these small towns along the way.
Any current travel offers or seasonal discounts that visitors might be able to take advantage of?
The most important thing is to check your flights, check them regularly. I love to use Google Flights. That's kind of my go-to. Um, I do find that if I've been searching for a flight and I'm sort of refreshing often, I do like to open up a separate private window, so that there's not like tracking, because I do believe that the prices go up as the need
Hmm.
as there's a need identified, from your IP address. So that's something that I like to do. But you can find deals all times of year, especially if your travel plans are flexible.
As we wrap things up here, that for travelers wanting to learn more or maybe plan a cultural focused trip, where should they start?
For sure. Well, the main thing is even before you step foot in Puerto Rico, we've got the big game coming up. It's in less than a week. And Discover Puerto Rico has created this super cool, immersive experience. So you can actually, it's a simulcast of the game. You watch it online. And what it does is it's going to actually include commentators, music, recipes, cocktails, all from Puerto Rico. So the idea is it kind of bookends the game with all this wonderful Puerto Rican cultural stuff. So you can try it before you step foot on the island, and you can go to discoverpuertorico.com/the big game. So it's the dash big dash game to find out more.
Fantastic. A lifestyle expert, Yvette Rios, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you. I hope to see you in Puerto Rico.
I hope so too. Thank you. All right, 9 minutes past the hour. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back with some more of the day's top news stories and local headlines next.